Hello students, this is Uttkarsh, Bhargava. In this lecture, I'm going to start with the chapter number 2 of unit number 3 of class 11th Economics, Indian Economic Development. The chapter which we were studying, that was employment and unemployment. Till the last class, we talked about so many terms in respect of employment, unemployment. We talked about labor force, workforce participation ratio, labor force ratio. So we talked about many things, and in this video I'm going to start with the next topic, that is the sectors of employment. Now, what are the sectors of employment? Guys, we categorize these sectors into formal and informal. Now, what is this formal sector of employment? Guys, formal sector of employment means that sector which follows the rules and regulation issued by the government, which exist in the government books, means government knows this thing, that there is a firm of this name which do that business, so that will be considered as a formal sector. Now, if you are employed in that sector, then you will get some benefits. What kind of benefits you are going to get? Examples are really very simple. Like, in such kind of sector, insurance facility means the employer would surely provide you insurance, that if something happens with you, especially on your working place, then the insurance company would be liable. And this expenditure of insurance is fully covered by the company. What else we will get? If you are working more than your working hours, you can say extra hours, overtime, then the company is liable to pay extra for that extra time. So you must be aware of this thing, that just for an extra hour you will get the extra wage or salary. Similarly, in this sector, so many social security benefits are given by the employer. One more thing, who is employer? Is the boss, the one who has the power to hire the employees, the employer. So many social security benefits are given by the employer. Sir, what kind of social security benefits you are talking? You are not getting that thing. Guys, social security means like maternity benefits to the female employees in the last month of their pregnancy. That is also given by the employer. What else? Weekly off, a one paid leave in a week, that is again given by given in the formal sector. What else? Like, they will give you almost every social security which is required, like sometime rent-free accommodation, free ration, breakfast, lunch, dinner, such kind of things are given in this sector. So, let us start with its content. What is written, guys? It is organized sector which includes all PSUs. What are PSUs? These are public sector undertaking. What? Public sector undertaking. So that is PSUs. And private enterprise which are registered with the government. So all those firms which are registered with the government or which are the government departments or the government companies, then there will be mandatory for them to follow the rules and regulation by the government. So that is what is the basic property of formal sector. B. Social security is given to the formal workers. So as I told you that the workers of this sector are provided the social security so that they will feel socially secure. They will feel this thing that yes, my company is there for me, to help me, to make me socially secure. Examples are like PF, Provident Fund. Sir, what is this Provident Fund? We don't know. Guys, especially in government departments and now in so many private enterprise as well, PF facility is there. That every month your salary will be deducted by a prefixed amount, and you will get that amount in lump sum or in installments, that is again as per your contract, when you leave that job or when you got retired from that job. So if you are quitting that job, so whatever your lump sum amount is now which is now has been collected in the bank, your company will pay that amount along with the interest. And what so many people do is that pension, which is that pension or retirement. Now what is this? Every month the proportion of our income, every month some proportion of our income was being deducted by the company as the PF. Now suppose you got retired from that job, means you served that company throughout your life and now it's your retirement. So whatever PF which is being collected by your company in a particular bank, so the company would pay that PF in installments, and those installments are known as the pension on retirement. Fine. So those things, those amount which is periodically credited by the bank in your account when you are not working, when you are not serving, and that thing will be known as your pension. And then maternity benefits, as I said you in the previously, means it is given by the employer to the female employees in the last months of their pregnancy and in the initial months of their infant's life. Means a newborn baby requires very much care. So the female employee must be available for that infant, and it is the duty of the firm to allot them the maternity leave from the last month of their pregnancy to the few months, the initial months of the infant's life, and which is going to be again paid. As per the government norms, you cannot fire your worker, you cannot throw them out of the company, especially during the period of pregnancy, and in most of the companies it is paid. Yes, it is paid. Then workers of this sector are allowed to form trade unions. That in this sector, as per the law, they have the liberty to construct their own labor union. Now, what are the objectives of labor union? Guys, labor union works like, say there is a very giant production unit or a very giant firm having 500 or 600 workers who work together continuously from the day to night, or in some firms it is 24 hours. So, what is the use of the labor union? Labor union means those 500, 600 workers, they plan an election within them. They choose 3-4 people by doing the election, and those 3-4 people will be in contact with the administration, with the management of the firm, or you can say with those people who are sitting on a very higher seat in the company, and they bargain, those 3-4 elected people from that labor union, they bargain with the administration for their rights, for their welfare, for their needs. So they basically fight for the needs of the laborers, for the requirements of the laborers. They fight for higher wages, they fight for more social security, and it is completely legal until unless they are not getting violent. Once they are getting violent, that will be completely illegal, and government is free after that, the police is free after that to take strict action. But our constitution gives freedom to the laborers to make their labor union and to fight against their rights. So that is what is the formal sector is. Next, informal sector. Now what is this informal sector, guys? First of all, informal sector is basically that sector which is not registered with the firm, with the government. The firm which is not registered with the government, the firm whose existence is not there in the government books. The firms who is not liable to follow any government norms officially. If voluntarily they want to do, they can. No paid leaves are there, no extra wages are there for the overtime, no insurance facilities there, no maternity benefits are there, and no social security. Means you can say that only the casual workers, and sometimes, as I said this thing, that the firms in the informal sector can voluntarily follow the government norms if they want to. Few firms do and majority don't. So a firm which is like in India, there are grocery shops, local grocery shops, local retailers, small restaurants, dhabas and all. They hire so many people in their small dhabas, in their grocery shops. In few books, and we'll also talk about the same statement, that as per the government norms, that if you are hiring more than 10 workers, then you must be registered with the government. But in our country, there are so many businesses who have hired more than 10 people. More than 10 people are working in their firms and they are not registered with the government. So the thing is this, that parameter is not the correct parameter to differentiate that which one is from formal and which one is from the informal. Not the correct parameter. So informal is basically that sector which is liberal first, which is not required to follow any condition, and you can say that they basically do whatever they wish, but legally. Means they cannot exploit any worker. I'm not saying this thing that informal sector is completely illegal. It's legal. It's completely legal. If you want to start up your business right now, say you want to start up a food stall of yours near your house, you can. Our government gives you freedom for this also. You can, you simply can. So informal sector, it is unorganized sector which includes all the small enterprises, hawkers and peddlers. So all the hawkers who basically hawk the small rickshaw sort of thing on which they sell vegetables, fruits, daily consumable goods. And there are peddlers. So peddlers who basically sit at one place, put up their stuff to sell on daily basis at a particular location. So the peddlers who are not registered with the government, means there is no need to follow the government norms. Now, second point, no social security is given to employees and workers of informal sector. So no security is given, and the workers who are employed in this sector, they don't get any kind of security. As I said you before, no paid leaves are there, forget about insurance, don't ever think about the maternity benefits. So such kind of things are like dream for the workers in this sector. And the last, workers of this sector are not allowed to form unions. They don't have such liberty to form unions. And that is also obvious that the one who is doing his business with 7, 8 or 12, 15 workers, and which is again from informal sector, there will be no scope for making the labor unions. Union is a concept which is practiced when there are 90, 100, 200, 300 workers, and there is a big gap between the administration and the workers. Even in these cases, workers do not have any idea that who are the owners of the firm. In that case, the labor union, the leader of the labor union, the president, vice president, these guys, they directly come in the contact with the administration. But if I talk about the informal sector, the boss, there is usually only one or two boss, and they both, or the employers, they are always in the front of their employees. So we cannot say that there is a very huge gap between the employees and the employers. So there is no need actually to form the unions, and unfortunately you cannot make the unions. because employer has full power to fire you at any point of time. Doesn't matter how efficient you are or how loyal you are. Now next is unemployment. Now what is this unemployment, guys? Guys, unemployment is a situation when any able-bodied person who is trying to find a job at the current wage rate but unable to find the job. Means whatever the wage rates are in the market, if the individual is willing to get a job but not able to get a job, not getting the job, that is known as the unemployed. So what is written? It is a situation when any able-bodied person willing to do a job but not getting the job at current wage rate. Types of unemployment are as follows. What are the types of unemployment? The first one is the industrial unemployment. Now before reading this, let us understand it first. What is this industrial unemployment? Guys, industrial unemployment means that every year a lot of rural individuals migrate from rural to urban areas, or you can say that a lot of people come in the urban areas or in the industrial areas in order to find the job in the industrial sector. But our industrial sector is not big enough to absorb the increasing population which is coming towards the industrial sector to get employment. So if an individual who is willing to come to the industrial sector but not getting the job, that is known as the industrial unemployment. Just take a look. It includes those illiterate persons who are willing to work in the industrial sector but unable to find any job. Rural people rush to urban areas in search of employment, but industrial sector in India is not expanded so much to absorb the increasing labor force. That our industrial sector is not that much expanded that it can absorb the increasing labor force. It's not expanded that much. So those who remain unemployed are known as industrial unemployed. So all those people who came to the urban areas, who came to the industrial sector in order to get some job, but they unable to get the job, they didn't get the job, so they will be known as industrial unemployed. Next is technical unemployed. Now this is really very easy term to understand. What is this technical unemployment? Guys, technical unemployment is basically when an individual is not upgrading himself or herself with the latest technology. Means they cannot understand the latest technology. What would happen? they will remain unemployed. If the people are not uplifting themselves with the latest technology, the companies will not demand such kind of human resource. That's simple. So they will be known as technically unemployed. Fine. So what is written? Everywhere technical upgradation is taking place. So people who have not updated new skills with the latest technology become technically unemployed. So all those people who have not updated their skills along with the latest technology, who are not, tech friendly, who don't know the latest skills in respect to the latest technology, then they will be surely what? Technically unemployed. Then educated unemployment. Now what is this educated unemployment? What does it mean? Educated unemployment means this refers that a person is educated but still unemployed. A person who is educated but still unemployed. That is known as educated unemployment. The principal reason behind this are, what are the principal reasons? First, because of expansion in education institution in our country, the number of education institutions are increasing rapidly. Because of that, what is happening? The value of education is falling down. So what government they have to do? They have to make our education system more job oriented, more skill oriented instead of this. So even this thing, that there was a time when there were only few engineers, when there were very few MBAs, but in now times there are a lot of engineers, a lot of MBAs. Abundancy is there. Now because of that abundancy, the value of education is going down, which is causing what? Educated unemployment. People are educated but they are still unemployed. Then what is the use of such kind of education? So because of expansion in education institutions, the number of educated persons has increased. So many educated people we have now. Second, education system in India is not job oriented. Till class 12th, till the graduation, even sometime till the post graduation, people don't have any idea that where they have to go, what they have to do. They are lost in between so many streams, in so many occupations, in so many this diversified professional streams. If our education system is job oriented, in that case they'll be knowing this thing, that what they have to do in their life. So the education system is not job oriented. That is why a lot of educated unemployed people are there in the country. People are highly educated but still they are unemployed because they don't know what they have to do or where they have to go. Then C, employment opportunities have not increased as much as the number of education persons. Means the proportion in which the education persons, the educated population is increasing, that percentage is very much higher as compared to the increase in the employment opportunities. So you can say the employment opportunities fall short of the educated people. We cannot say this thing that the employment opportunities are not increasing. It is increasing. But that increase is lesser than the increase in the educated population. That is why we have a very huge proportion of educated population. You must be knowing this thing, that so many people who are highly qualified, they are applying for very low division work just because their education is not worthy at all, is not, is not useful actually. So that was the educated unemployment. Next is frictional unemployment. What is this frictional unemployment? Guys, frictional is basically that period of unemployment when one person is switching his jobs. Say you quit your job today. Let's say that today is what? Say 30th January. You quit your job on 30th January and your next joining is on 10th of February. Now you're going to remain unemployed for 9-10 days. Of course. You know this thing that the job is in my hand. You know this thing that these 10 days I have to wait for the joining. But in those 10 days, you will be known as unemployed. And to be very specific, that is known as frictional unemployment. So the period in between switching the jobs. So what is written? It is a situation when someone is temporarily out of work while changing the jobs. So when someone is temporarily out of the job just while changing the jobs is known as the frictionally unemployed. Then structural unemployment. What is this structural unemployment? Guys, you must understand this thing that by time the demand of the demand of things changes. By time the demand of things changes. Some things comes in the demand and some things go out of the demand. You can say favorable changes in the demand and unfavorable changes in the demand. So the good which is trending, which is coming in the demand, people will automatically start producing more of that thing, which will increase the employment opportunities. But what about those things? Those things which are going out of the market, which are going out of the demand. Everybody who was employed in the industry of that particular good or service which is going out of the demand, they'll all get unemployed. So just explain this with an example. Here's an example. There was a time when all the Bollywood posters used to be drawn by the artists. Yes, there was a time when each and every poster was drawn by hand. But by time what happened? New technology came and the demand of that thing went away. So all those painters got unemployed just because of the fall in demand of their service. So their service went away from the demand of the market, and that is why they got unemployed. And you can take the example of anything like Nokia. The whole world knows that how Nokia went away from the consumer preferences, and ultimately the people who were engaged in Nokia got unemployed. So it is caused by a decline in demand for a product, oblique technology, oblique service in a particular industry. So if the demand of the product or technology or service is declining, is falling, so that will cause the structural unemployment. Therefore, decline in demand leads to unemployment in that industry, which is known as structural unemployment. So the demand is falling, surely some kind of unemployment would be there, which is known as structural unemployment. Then cyclical unemployment. Now what is this cyclical unemployment? Guys, there is a concept of business cycle. Let me draw the business cycle first for you. There is a business cycle, and the first phase in the business cycle is boom. After boom, there is inflation. After inflation, there is recession. After recession, there is depression. After depression, there is recovery. And by recovery, we again achieve the boom. So this is how the business cycle works. From boom means all the business are at their peak. Everybody is making good money because there is a very good flow of money in the market. Then that thing, when everybody have money in their hand, they'll do excess demand in the market because they have a lot of money in their hand, and that excess demand would lead to inflation in the market. Then inflation leads to recession. Recession means fall in the price level. Why? Because when the things are getting expensive, the behavior of the people will get changed. They'll feel this thing that, oh my God, the prices are getting high, we should save more. And when they started saving more, means saving high means pulling money out of the market. I'm talking about the saving money in your home only, hoarding the money. So when you are saving more, that means the recession will come. And sometimes this recession worsen into depression. That when the businesses are not going good, the demand is not going good, means every business is experiencing its bad phase. In that case, the government, they have to interfere in the market. They usually come up with the investment schemes, and those investment schemes leads to injection in the market, in the economy, and that would leads to what again? Boom. So that was the business cycle. But where is the cyclical unemployment? When the economy is facing its recessionary or depressionary phase, in that case they'll experience some kind of unemployment, which is known as the cyclical unemployment. So during the trade cycle, when economy faces recessionary phase, it leads to unemployment in the economy. This is known as cyclical unemployment. Fine, this is known as cyclical unemployment because the people are facing the recessionary phase. The economy is facing the recessionary phase. So these were the types of the unemployment. Now, we are left with two topics, guys, and then there are the question and answers. Let's do one thing. We'll continue this in the next lecture. Fine. So till then, there were a lot of types of the unemployment. Keep revising them. Keep learning them. We'll talk about few more concepts in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself, study hard, keep watching our video. Catch you soon in the next lecture. Thank you so much, guys.